Hello everyone, welcome to Bargain Gaming, where we can play excellent games without busting our wallets. This is episode 33 of Final Fantasy 12. What I have been doing in between episode is to get Ash, to level up Ash, and also what do you call this? Make her first to determine what Ash's vocation will be, or character will be. So I turned her into a monk. The reason is that we do have only two. We have currently Bash is our knight, so that's an obvious tank, and we can only have three people in a party. So it is always good to have another tank in the party. So what happens is that, let's assume we are in a game or in a mission, and we are I think, or maybe let's say Bash is in terrible shape for whatever reason. We can always swap him out for another tank. Like, we can go to the party portion and swap him out and put, let's say we can put Van in, and so next we can now move back and out, move champions, or our, I shouldn't say characters in and out of the party. And this is important as far as the two key positions that we in any party would be the tank and the healer. Now, I discovered that Ash, if we look at Ash actually has, when she started out with a sword, and so ideally she should be another knight, but we already have a knight. So what I decided to do is I turned her into a monk. And a monk in Final Fantasy is a fantastic class. So in her, given her license, look at what we did with her. She started out with this. These are these areas that, so what I've filled out are, these are hit points. So we could quickly improve her hit points into a really beefy tank. So she has a lot of hit points right now. She is equivalent to Bash in terms of hit points. If we look at here, we will see that Bash had like 1700 in hit points, and so does Ash. So going back to and then the other side, so these are hit points, and then this side are battle lore. And battle lore is the amount of damage our tank does, because our tank needs to keep the enemy's aggro on itself, on himself. So by dealing a lot of damage, because right now we don't have like a shout or something that attracts aggro. So it is purely damage, and we will try to minimize the amount of damage, or maximize the attention the monster has for our tank. So these are the two things that I have actually increased: hit points and ability to dish out damage. And aside from that, I was actually debating between a monk or a black mage. Black mage deals all in magic. But it turns out, I realized that most of the characters in this game, they are like hybrid classes. Like Vaughn, our main character, is a time mage and also a ranged guy, because he comes in with a crossbow or a bowgun. So he's a ranged guy and a time mage. And even our main healer, which is Canelo, which we turn into a white mage, she still has a bunch of what do you call this? She has what do you call She has physical damage. Just these are, I think, yeah, battle lore. She has a bunch of this battle lore. That's one. Well, not that much. Magic lore. Oh, this, and also she doesn't have a lot of hit points, so I'm concentrating on finding out where the hit points locations are, and then moving it to those. So she has a channeling. Okay. So here is another hit point. So from the chart, we can see where we want the developments to go. So battle lore increases her physical attack damage. Here would be HP. So magic lore increases magic potency. So that means her healing ability or her healing magic goes up. Because I remember when we had Lamont with us, his healing magic was about maybe 140 per cure. Penelo's cure is doing over 240 points of heal because of all the magic lore that we have invested in. And like here, like magic lore, and this one would be, oh, we need to get this because she keeps getting hit. So that means she needs to replenish her magic as much as possible. So even our main healer is primarily battle lore. So she has battle lore. That's one. That's, I think that's the second one. Magic lore. Magic lore. HP. Magic lore. So we have invested a lot in, and then HP. We have invested a lot to get her up in terms of her ability to dish out damage, her ability to, her potency of her magic, and at least some level of hit points so that she doesn't get crushed immediately. So these are all the, on the license board, we can actually check, see, like this is magic. What we want to do next is to get this, because yeah, this will replenish her magic every time she deals damage. And also every time, when I think there's another one that every time she takes damage, she also gets, oh, magic lore potency. She also gets back. Oh, so we need to get this, and then come down here to get her another 70 hit points. So we know where to go by checking on what squares are the important characteristics for us. We can actually program to go where they are. I don't know how to get here. I think we have to, if I don't know, I'm guessing here that I think we have to complete this whole block over here, including this. And I think once we have completed that whole block, then we can have access to this one. And similar to this, to get access to this one, we have to have this whole row filled up, maybe even including this one. Oh, that one is good. Wow, okay, to get there, to get that 100 hit points, you know what? We can do this right now. Gain MP after dealing damage. Or we can do this. Oh, that is 75 LP and another 60, 135 plus another 35. 170 LP. Wow, so we can calculate as to how much to get to this one. I think we want this one. We want her doing this because she can do a lot of white magic abilities, like what am I doing? Like this one, no, where are her magic abilities? Sorry about that. I think these are, yeah, these are, no, these are armor. Oh, this one, these are her magic abilities. Cure. And Blinda is to cure blindness. Poisona is to cure poison. Vox, I'm trying to remember what Vox does. Protect and Shell. Protect is against, to provide like a protection against physical damage, and Shell is protection against magic damage. And Raise is to get somebody back from the dead. Cura is a group cure ability, so that spends a lot of magic. We don't have that magic yet. We have to buy that. So these are her basic spells. And even so, that's why, in other words, what I'm saying is that all our characters are actually hybrid characters. Even Penelo, which has been a white mage, is also a hybrid character. She most of her damage comes from physical damage, and then and then she will be primarily in protection, meaning protection from physical, protection from magic damage, and also healing, and then also counter stuff. And then Ash also has Potion Lore, White Magic 4, so she can do Cura, group healing, and Raise. White Magic 9, wow, Kuraja, Traveler. So all of them are actually hybrid classes. Even if we look at Bash, I think Bash has like first aid or something. So he is principally, yeah, I think he has first aid and potions, and so everybody can be actually a healer, because through either magic or through potions. So those are things we can actually increase. Telekinesis. Oh, so these are magic points. Deal range damage with melee weapons. HP revive. So revive because fully consumed. So in a way they can raise a downed companion, and then the healer can heal him. So it's all combinations. It's depending how we arrange the characters, and each character has certain skills that allow them to be like overall characters. So that means we cannot have like a pure damage or a pure healer or kind of things, because all of them will always be contributing to the party. So these are how the licenses were constructed. And then the other important thing is the Gambits. With Gambits, what I have done is I have made Ash be the backup healer, so that right now Penelo is healing anybody that is at 50%, and she will be the one with the highest magic mana pool. So I have asked, so she will be healing her or replenishing her mana also when it hits minus 30. And then so anytime she is under, she has to heal herself first, and that's why Ash is there to be the backup healer. Because if she doesn't heal herself and she buys the farm, then the whole party suffers. So she heals herself first, and then this is to make sure she has the mana, and then she starts healing the other parties. That's why I keep healing allies at 50% or less, and then of course then we all target the leader's target, and then I think we have to. So we're all common. We all have a common target, and then target nearest foe. For Ash, she is the backup healer, so she will heal herself when she gets to under 30. Heals any ally under 40, because that means Penelo is actually having problems, and then targeting Penelo, so that we need to save Penelo. That's why every tank damage dealer out there, we have to protect Penelo. Not so much the party leader, but Penelo, because she will be our main healer. And then we either target the party leader's target, so everybody's always working on one mob, rather than everybody's working on each individual mob. That way, if everybody's working on individual mob, assuming there are 3 mobs and there are 3 of us, each one will take forever to deal with their own. And so while those 3 mobs are dealing damage 3 at a time, but if all of our party deal damage on 1, we eliminate it in 2 rounds. So we now only in the first 2 rounds are 3 mobs dealing damage. By the end of the second round, there are only left 2 mobs dealing damage. By the end of the 4th round, there's only 1 mob left. If all of them are, assuming all of them same level, same difficulty. So that's the way. And then we will have to buy more Gambits from merchants, so that next one it will have clearer delineations in terms of, let's say, especially if one of the mob is a caster, we will go for the caster first, or the healer, and then number 2 maybe flying targets, or maybe ranged guys like Vaughn and Bash. Vaughn and Balthier and Fran will go for ranged guys, because melee guys cannot hit those guys. And then that would be the first target will be casters, especially healers, and then ranged guys go for flyers, and then melee guys go for the toughest guy in the part. And usually I will be controlling our main tank. In this case, it's Bash. And so that is why on the license board we are given so many licenses that allow us Gambits, or so in effect, Gambits work like a code written in programming. We are programming our followers, or not just followers, every individual party member to do exactly what we want them to do, so that we will be working well as a party. I wish, and the licenses provides multi-lines of code, like this one. That's another Gambit slot. That's another Gambit slot. There are lots of Gambit slots that the more we invest, the more we have Gambit slots, and the more we have the Gambits to assign into those Gambit slots, we can clearly delineate or define each party member's what we expect them to do. It's as if we are playing that particular party member. So I wish in every game that I have played, like Fallout, where we have a follower, or Dragon's Dogma, where we have pawns, I wish we have the same license and Gambit's ability. Anyway, let's see how things work now that we have described what we want them to do. See, I am controlling our main meat shield, and let's see if we don't control them afterwards. See, they just control doing it. And let's say if we hit a multi-party situation, so that's a skeleton, that's a caster, so I have my hands off the buttons, and they will automatically work like, wow, so they work very well. So again, now there are 2 mobs here, so okay, I'll move my thumb off the controllers, and let's see how the party works. So now they have hit Canelo, so they go for the monster that is hitting Canelo. See, it actually works very well, especially if there are more. Now I'm not controlling it anymore, so that's. So as soon as they target Canelo, they go for that guy. So I'm not controlling it. They all have their Gambits turned on, so everybody is hurting. Oh, okay, now they're not. See, the action just keeps going. We don't have to do anything. See, this is why Final Fantasy 12 is one of the games I consider one of the best games ever, because they have this. Okay, we can attack by saying the skeleton first. And then after that, because the reason right now we are doing that, I did that, is it doesn't show which is the caster. But as soon as they target, no, that's a caster, right? If we have one that shows that the caster is casting, or a gambit that says we attack the caster, then they will all turn to the skeleton. But right now we don't have a gambit for that one yet. Or yeah, gambit. We have the gambit slots, but we don't have the gambit. Anyway, and this makes the game so much smoother, and also I mean the fights smoother and easier. See, because every character knows what to do. And then we don't have to worry about whose health is low, because the AI will automatically compute for it. Now, every time we go into a break in between this, what I do is I actually change to our healer, and I normally top them off. White magic, cure. Penelo is like 300 points below. Let's look at her heal ability. Almost 300, 289. That is a lot of heal. And then another heal for Bash, because Bash is almost 300 points below. Wow, he'll be almost back to full health. Oh, no. He was almost 400 below. So, and then going back to getting Bash be our controlled character. So this way, it is such a good, it makes the fight so smooth. Now, if you guys out there have played with games like Fallout, and especially Dragon's Dogma, your followers are very, what do you call this? Are you know, they block more than they help, or they are hindrance more than they are helpful. Especially in Dragon's Dogma, because you are traveling around with 3 pawns, so that's a party of 4. And you know, a lot of the pawns usually get in the way, or they pull more mobs, or they pull. It is not as clean as this one. Like this one, see, everybody's back to full health. And then in our license, we don't have licenses that or in the Gambits. Let's say in the Gambits, Penelo has one. We can actually check a new one, and says like all our allies. So they're full flying, so that's why. Or it doesn't say any allies yet. Self. No, it doesn't say any ally, all allies, or because if we have that, any party member, Von, Frost, Penelo, we can do self. See, under self, and then we can do not attack, but we can always do a protect. See, protect allows us, raises 1 ally's defense, or shell, so we will never be silenced, or we will never be blinded, because as a caster, the worst thing that can happen to our healer is to be silenced. So we can put a shell. Right now we are not meeting anybody that has that, but once we meet somebody that can, so we can do protect, or instead of self, we can do always cast on Bash, right? Because he is our Okay, we can put him up here so that he is always enjoying additional protection. I mean, from physical damage, since so that can work too. So automatically, she casts that on him, and we know he is protected. So those things are actually the Gambits, and the license board is so useful. And we can do that. Let's say we can cast that on Bash, and then we can cast like Shell on ourselves or on the healer, so that she will never be silenced. Okay, anyway, so let's go for the last fight before we cut the episode right here. Look at that. How quickly they... Very efficient, and we don't even have to control it anymore. Okay, so this episode is about Gambits and how they work, what and why we have Gambits, and why it is important. I think I will spend some more time in this area to get Balthier and Balthier up. Balthier is way low. Anyway, okay, thank you guys for joining me. I hope you will join me in the next episode. Bye.